Welcome, welcome, welcome. As I like to say every week when introducing myself or reintroducing myself, I am still Dr. Arnold Nerenberg, a licensed to practice clinical psychology in the state of California since 1974. And I was licensed to walk upon this earth in 1941, and in 12 days, actually 8 days, in 8 days, I'm going to be 83. So I'm very excited by hitting 83. Glad I'm still here. We're able to be here with you and share insights and lessons and inspirations of a lifetime. It's my intention to uplift you and your loved ones for the rest of your lives. To uplift you, for you to pass this knowledge along. The title of today's presentation is, What Have Your Parents Done for You? What have your parents done for you? And I'm talking about normal parents. I'm not talking about situations where there's a molest, abuse, physical or emotional abuse, or neglect. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about normal parents that love us. What have your parents done for you? We don't really in life appreciate what we have until we lose it. We don't appreciate what we have till we lose it or almost lose it or lose the person. That's human nature. The key is to be able to appreciate what we have while we still have it or have them. That's key to a good life. That's key to a happy life. That's an honorable life. To honor demands appreciating the moment, the love that's in our lives, the beauty. Gratitude is a definite requirement to live an honorable life. The opposite is to be complaining about everything all the time. That's not honorable. The reason that, or one of the reasons I'm giving this talk today, right from the beginning of psychotherapy, problems, neuroses, issues that we have was traced to the parents, the mother and the father. Trace it down. This happened with the mother, this happened with the father. As a matter of fact, many therapists, not all, and it certainly doesn't apply to me, but not all, but most of the therapists really explore with their patients what their parents did to them. What did your mother do to you? What did your father do to you to get you to be like this? To where you have these problems that you have. And there's nothing wrong with asking that question, but it's not the right question to begin with. The first question should be, what did your mother do for you? What did your father do for you? And in the context of gratitude, then it's permissible to really explore what was done to you, what happened to bring out these issues. But first you must. What did your parents do for you? Our mothers went through the pain of childbirth, being in labor, carrying us for 9 months, breastfeeding when they can. Our father was working during that time. We were born into a home with a roof over our heads, food being provided, parents working, perhaps saving what they can for our education, clothing us, guiding us, loving us, supporting us, sacrificing for us. That's what our parents have done for us. They sacrificed for us, asking nothing in return. All we did was take, receive, and they gave, without expecting anything at that time. That's what happens in every normal situation. It's incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. That should always be kept in mind, whatever complaint we have about our mothers, our fathers, and there can be some legitimate complaints. But that should be kept in mind at all times, especially in the therapy, which is not done in many cases. In many cases, that gratitude is not kept in mind as the mistreatment in different situations and the unfair treatment in certain situations is explored, and then the parent is blamed. Do you know how many children, and the children could be 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, whatever, go to therapy and end up resenting their mother, resenting their father because you did this to me or you didn't do this for me? Very common. Very common. And that's because the therapist failed. They failed to explore, what did your mother do for you? What did your father do for you? Before they went into the areas of their limited ability to parent, whatever those limitations were. That's a tragic mistake. Tragic. I had the good fortune. I had imperfect parents, imperfect human beings. I'm so happy I had my mother. I'm so happy I had my father. I wrote a book for my father called Upon My Father's Passing. It's on my website, arnoldtherapy.com. I'll read you a poem I wrote for my mother while she was alive. I didn't wait till she was gone because I appreciate her. So I had to put it in calligraphy. I've been hanging in my gallery. Mom, what have you shown me of life? What of me is from you? How well do you remember the pain of my birth? As years go by, you give me the honor of being a strength to you. As with all children, I am selfish and think mostly of my needs and ask for your help. But if I can give you joy and make you happy that you have a son, then I can count myself a man.
You want to come watch it?
Somebody was asking, I just overheard somebody saying they would come watch it. I think all of us would like our children to watch this video. I'm not saying that this gentleman wanted it for his children, but we should all be awakened to this reality that I'm talking about. Our parents have given to us, through their actions, number one, the way they gave to us in every way, financially, emotionally, the security, the protection, the guidance, the guidance of bringing us to good character. But the other way our parents gave to us has to do with who they are. If the person was hardworking, if that was the example, hardworking, we're more likely to become hardworking. If a person was generous, honest, honorable, we're more likely to be that way. If they have high values, if they believe in God, we're more likely to have those values in that belief system. Our parents, in a normal situation, have unconditional love for us. Every one of us were a pain in the neck for our parents. They were vulnerable, worried about us, probably disappointed at times, but they loved us. For normal parents, the love was unconditional. The gift we gave our parents was not that we were always so great to them, no. The gift we gave them is by being born. We awakened unconditional love in them. And of course, we were given the gift of life. We can't take credit for being born. We were given the gift of life itself. Now, the two attitudes we can have about that, we can say, what my parents gave me, I can never repay them. I'm so grateful. And do all we can, all the respect, everything we can do for them, we do. The other one, and this attitude exists, I didn't ask to be born, you owe me. I didn't ask to be born, you owe me. Hence, feeling entitled. I didn't ask to be born, you owe me. Of course, if you ask that person, now that you didn't ask to be born, but now you're here, I notice you don't want to leave. You try to stay, so, hey. In fact, you want to stay. You didn't ask to be born, but you're doing all you can to stay as long as you can. So that says you want to stay here. So gratitude is the appropriate response to our parents. Again, I'm talking about a normal situation, not where there was a neglect, an abuse, physical or mental, or molestation. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a normal situation. So I know, and whoever you all watch this, I know your parents, if they were normal parents, gave you all of this, the unconditional love, the guidance, the protection, the security. They did all they could for you. They sacrificed for you. I know that. And I know that you have respect and appreciation, but we could always grow more in the expression of that through our actions, through our attitude, through our words. How fortunate we are to have parents, two parents, and they loved us. Sometimes we're talking about people. I know many people who had one parent. Maybe the father left, and the mother was the mother and the father. Rare occasions, the father was the mother and the father. The mother had passed away or left. In which case, the mother played both roles, which is even more amazing. And you know, when a mother really guides a child, sacrifices, we all love our mothers, but the children of those mothers that I've known are so devoted to their mothers. And that's appropriate. In our society today, we want to bring that back, respect for the parent. We owe them respect. They have unconditional love for us. You may or may not like your mother and father. Could happen. But the respect. Without that respect, we won't respect ourselves, because our parents, we've internalized our mother and father into ourselves. We won't respect ourselves. And if we don't respect our parents, we won't respect the institutions of society. The main problem in our educational system is a breakdown of parental respect. We don't respect the parent. Guess what? There's a lack of respect for the teacher. You could have no computers in the room with a leaky roof, but if they respect that teacher, they will get a wonderful education. If they don't respect the teacher, you can have $1 million worth of equipment and a beautiful building. They're not going to learn. Must be that respect for the teacher. And that, to occur, there has to be respect for the mother and father. One of the missions of the honor movement is to bring respect back into the family. Within one generation, we can change our society. The mother and the father want more and what's best for the child more than the child even knows what's best for him or her. The mother knows better, and he knows he knows what he needs. The father knows better than he knows what he needs. The child wants to cross the street to get a ball, 2 years old, goes after the ball, a car's going to come in and run over. The mother grabs the child and saves the life, and the child screams and starts hitting the mother. So upset that, why did you stop me from getting the ball, not knowing the mother saved his life. The mother knows, and that same metaphor applies as we get older. Because the mother and the father desperately want what's best for us, to protect us, to ensure that we live with vitality, longevity, health, and everything that's good in life. Nobody is more of a well-wisher than your mother. Nobody's more of a well-wisher than your father. Other people love you or wish you well, but not like them. Oh no. That's totally selfless. It behooves us, therefore, to show that gratitude and that respect, to give them that. And I'm talking about this a lot because we need to bring that into our society. It's lacking, very widely lacking. Instead, there's an attitude amongst many youth of, I'm entitled, give me. And some amount of that is normal, but these values that I'm talking about need to be inculcated. What I'm saying on this video, it needs to be shown. Children 5 years old, 10 years old, be exposed to these concepts. Should be taught in schools. This video and these concepts, if not from me, from others with the same ideas, should be taught to the therapists. Therapists shouldn't start with, what did your mother do to you to make you like that? What did your father do to you to make you like that? Nah, that's wrong. What did your mother do for you? What did your father do for you? Let's see what the good things that were given to you. Then later you can explore the limitations, the imperfections of your mother and father that contribute to your issues. But in the context of gratitude, that's what's needed. That's what we need. It's one of the biggest needs, maybe the biggest needs in our society today in 2024. Absolutely. All religions, I don't care what religion you are. Baha'i, Christian, Catholic, Muslim, Jewish, Buddhist, Zoroastrian, Hindu. Every religion, without exception, talks about respecting your parents for a reason. Respect your parents, honor your parents. Without exception. There is no exception. There's a wisdom in that. Because as we respect our parents, that's how we develop self-respect. Well, it's been my pleasure and my privilege to present to you, what have your parents done for you? I'm going to open it for comments, questions, whatever you want to ask or say. Please feel free to, because the things you say are going to add a lot to everybody else. Whenever I'm having sessions with my people, they always tell me, oh, I love hearing from the other individuals. I feel less alone in the world. I identify with what they're saying. I love being a part of this community, awesome community. So please feel free to ask a question or just speak up in any way or make a comment.
You have 7 children.
He was saying I have 7 children. Yeah.
How different are each of them?
He said, how different are each of them?
Well, they're raised by the same parents.
Yeah. I think in all cases, the children all raised the exact same parents turn out differently. Most children, as particularly today, don't really want the guidance from the parents. Most don't. One of my 7 did and still does want guidance from my wife and me. But that's an issue that children will turn to advice from their friends who are not going to give them the best advice. They don't care as deeply about them to give. They don't have the wisdom, the knowledge, or the care to give them the best advice. I have 1 child out of 7 that wanted the advice and follows the advice to this day. She's an adult, well-educated, wonderful human being. The others many want to find out the hard way, find out on their own. But when a child has the blessing of wanting that guidance, and it's partly cultural, not culture at this time, what the parent has to say is not that important compared with what the friends say. But I'll tell you this, for many people who didn't really ask for the guidance from their parents, father's gone, that person will say, my father used to say this. I remember my father used to tell me that, quoting the father. Hey, my mother used to say this. My mother used to say that. And they value the wisdom. We don't appreciate what we have till we lose it. How tragic. How tragic. We'll all lose our parents soon enough. I lost my father over 30 years ago, my mother 10, 12 years ago. So it's going to, I mean, it's good. It's really good if you don't have to wait to that point to wake us up to the enormous gratitude that's already within you. It's not like I'm needing to convince you of the gratitude. It's already deep in your heart. That gratitude that you have in a normal situation for your mother and father is profound. But often it's their death that awakens it. If it's awakened before that, you're very, very fortunate. Very fortunate. Even if you have a glimpse of what's going to be awakened in you when they leave, it's a great blessing. Thanks for that question, Hugh. Anybody else have anything you want to say or ask?
Dr. Nerenberg, this is Fernando.
Fernando, always good to hear from you, Fernando.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to say something because today is actually my mom's birthday. So
well, happy birthday to your mom.
Thank you.
Tell your mother that I said happy birthday to her. Yes.
Definitely. I'll let her know. And I just wanted to kind of allude to what you were saying is, my parents both had really difficult childhoods. My dad started working in the fields in Mexico when he was like 5 or 6 years old. And my mom also had a difficult upbringing. And then when they became adults and got married, they had kids really early on. So they had to sacrifice a lot of themselves for us, putting us through like private schools, even though they didn't have the money for it. They kind of invested in us and sacrificed a lot for themselves. And it's finally now that they're actually starting to kind of do things for themselves. They're actually in Mexico right now, vacation for my mom's birthday. And it just makes me realize, sometimes it's we don't really look at the childhood that our parents had, and we just think about the way they raised us. But a lot of times they had a difficult upbringing.
Wow. Fernando, thank you. You know what? Even if a person was treated roughly, the mother or the father treated you roughly, then you look at how he was treated, it might have been 10 times worse. You're right. You really need to see the context. They were raised perhaps by a situation that was 10 times worse than what you're having, and because your mother and your father love you so much, they're not nearly as hard on you in a way of spankings or whatever that their parents did. So that's a big improvement. And a lot of times, even the punishment, a lot of punishments, but I'm not talking about abusive punishment, but the punishments were out of love as well, to protect us from the world, to protect us from ourselves. Of course, to a child, that looks mean. But as we get older, we realize, I'm glad you were strict with me. I'm glad you did those things. I needed that punishment to become the man I am, to become the woman I am. Absolutely. Fernando, beautiful, beautiful point. It's wonderful that you said that. That's a wonderful contribution. Thank you, Fernando. And again, happy birthday to Mom.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else, please feel free to speak up, ask a question, make a comment.
Hey, Doc, it's Nora. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Tell me, who is this?
Nora?
Oh, Nora. Yes, Nora.
How are you? I think I don't know if you can, we're using my headphones.
I hear you very well, perfectly.
Okay. Like he was saying before, my parents are also, my mom got married at 18, came from a small town in Mexico, and she pretty much sacrificed her whole youth for us. Got pregnant right away, but they did have a different upbringing, and my dad was a military guy, so they were very strict, and my parents never really showed emotion. They never told us they loved us, but they showed it to us. It was never told, but they showed it to us.
It wasn't part of their culture upbringing to say I love you, but it was shown. That's very powerful, very powerful.
Yeah. And I think I always understood that, but I have my younger brother, that's his big beef with my parents, that they never told him that.
So he could have a beef. Let me interrupt you a second, because that's a good point. We could have a beef, But the beef should be in the context of the sacrifices, the love they had for us. That should be the overall, that should be the frame, the overarching concept. And you say, well, this could have been better, that could have been better, you know, but it should be in a context of gratitude. Absolutely. Please continue.
Yeah, no, that was all my thing. You know, that I think it takes time for us to realize that what they sacrifice. I think when we're younger, we're just like, you know, and I think as we get older, we realize everything they did for us.
You know, I was born in 1941. And back in the 40s, there was no such thing as child abuse. My mom whipped me with a belt when she was mad at me. She was 18. My mom had me at 18. We were poor, living in the projects. I probably drove her crazy. I was a pretty active kid. Whipped me with a belt, did other things that were pretty severe in that way. But it wasn't considered child abuse. So I didn't grow up knowing I'd been abused. I mean, you know, there was no child protective services, whatever. And I don't know what damage it did to me. I'm not saying it didn't damage. I just never knew what it did to me in a bad way. When I was about 30, I said, Mom, remember how you used to whip me with a belt and do this, that, and the other thing? She said, oh, I didn't do that. I said, Mom, it doesn't matter. I always knew you loved me. It doesn't matter. And I never brought it up again. Never again. So I always knew she loved me, even with some of that stuff that went on. I mean, she was overwhelmed. We were poor. My father would be in and out of having jobs. I was running around the apartment. We were indoors a lot. She's an 18-year-old, and she's 19, 20, and I'm 2 years old running around the apartment. So I can understand that was overwhelming, and my mother was always so devoted to me, so loving towards me. But by today's standard, we consider abuse. And her father died when she was 5, and her eldest brother raised her. There were 9 siblings, and he was abused. He just beat the hell. I don't remember. The mother was running a grocery store. He just beat up the kids to make sure they did whatever. And so she grew up with that kind of parenting. By the way, that uncle became a judge. I mean, he educated himself and became a federal judge. She did better than what he did, but at the same time, I always knew she loved me. I knew it. That's the difference. Now, what's called abuse these days, it can be devastating if there's not love. In the context of love, a lot of things are not going to be as damaging. Love covers a multitude of sins. When the child feels loved, even though this is going on, covers a multitude of sins and what took place with our imperfect parents as we're imperfect. However, any of us raise our children, for sure they're going to have some problems because of me, because of you. They're going to have some problems because we all did the best we could, and it wasn't perfect, that's for sure. Very, very good point. I'm really glad. Nora, thank you for bringing that up. Very important. I grew up, back when I was growing up in the 40s, nobody said I loved you. Nobody said. I mean, I tell my kids whenever I talk to them, I love them. I tell my wife all day long I love her. That's now, that's opened up. But in the 40s, 50s, I never heard it. I never heard it from an uncle and aunt. We're a very close family. It was not part of the culture back then. Yeah. Thank you, Nora. Anybody else have anything, please feel free to speak up, question, or comment.
Do you think a parent spending more time with the kid is more important than a gift?
The question is, spending more time with a parent, is that more important than a gift? The gift of time is the most precious gift. The gift of time, but it has one stipulation. The gift of quality time, which involves guidance. Some parents want to be their children's friends, not compromise what you have to do in terms of being a disciplinarian. The job as a parent is guidance. Teach a child between right and wrong, how to deal with the world, to to prepare the child for suffering, the suffering and joys, to prepare the child for marriage, for his own or her own family life, to bring the child to some relationship with the Creator. That's the job of the parent. Parent is not an entertainment committee. Take the kid to Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm. It's all good, and that's time with them, but that's not our job. We are not entertainment committees. Our parents were not entertainment committees. Their job was to raise us, protect us, support us when we can't support ourselves when we're young, and above all, to guide us. So it's not just the time, the gift of time used to help in the physical, psychological, and spiritual growth. That's the job of the parent. And that's more important than just giving gifts. Nothing wrong with giving gifts, as long as you're not spoiling the kid. I mean, some of these kids, there's so many toys around it. You need like a shovel to get it all out of the living. Shovel it out of the way. It's just, everybody's making toys. I mean, they don't learn to value each toy because they've got so much stuff. That's a problem. That's a problem. Good question. Who else has something you'd like to say or ask?
Hey, Dr. Nerenberg, this is Bert.
Bert, good to hear. I'm glad you're here, Bert.
Hey, I know Mother's Day is coming around the corner, and I just wanted to shout out all the new moms who will be celebrating their first Mother's Day, and just let them all know that you're stronger than you think, and it's okay to ask for help. You don't have to do this alone. So just something I wanted to shout out to all the new moms who will be celebrating Mother's Day coming up. Beautiful wish.
And by the way, I'm giving this talk because Bert and I were having a conversation the other day. I said, I think I'll give this talk. Actually, it stemmed out of something that was kind of humorous in a way. I said, you know, we all give this eulogy when our parents die, our mother dies, our father dies. We talk about how beautiful they were. We weep. We talk about our love. I said, I like to get my eulogy here. I like to listen in while I'm still here. About my 83, I'd like to hear my eulogy. In fact, I might request it. You know, let me see what the eulogy is. Say I'm in my grave. You know, you bury me. Well, what are you going to say? I'd like to hear it now. So it came out of that. We had a good laugh about it. The way it came up was very funny at the time with Bert and I. I mean, we were just laughing. So that's what inspired me. I said, you know, I'm going to give this talk. So I'm going to give the talk. You know, I want to hear my eulogy now is going to be the title. And my wife came in the room, and Bert and I were in my office. So my wife said, oh, no, don't give that title. So I didn't give that title. I want to hear my eulogy now. That was going to be it. Anybody else have anything you want to ask or say?
Hi, Dr. Nerenberg. It's Yasmin.
Yasmin, I'm so happy to hear from you, Yasmin.
Hi, thank you. So just two things, something that really stood out to me that you said, and just going back to my college years and, you know, my school years, the lack of respect for teachers now is unbelievable. And I think that really goes back to home life and how parents, you know, influenced your children and just teach them, you know, so that just really stood out to me. And then, you know,
Yasmin, let me say something. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that comes from the child not showing proper respect to the parent, and the parent tolerated it. Parents will tolerate it. Well, they say, well, my child has a right to self-expression. Or it could be, the mother's raising the child. Well, the father's not here, the poor kid. He can't help himself. And so they tolerate it. We'll have to wait.
Was there a teeny bopper helping you?
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
And then the second thing that
No, I'm just saying.
Go ahead, just continue. We'll just go over
okay. The second thing that I wanted to bring up, just by hearing everybody's comments about, you know, our parents, is when we have a parent that we've lost. And as time goes on, you have this immense gratitude. Like, for example, for me, I've lost my father, and just having him and everything he taught me as a woman to be stronger, and these things that, you know, he left me with the tools to keep moving forward. So
That's a
also
good father.
just remember those that we've lost.
Yeah. And that, and like I said, that's what a father needs to do. Your father did his job. In fact, from the other side, I'm sure he's doing all he can to lead the way and protect you and guide you in whatever ways he can from the other side. You know, it's going to be funny, this voice that whoever's speaking, when he sees the video, he's going to hear himself. It's going to be funny. Doesn't know we're all hearing because my muting device wasn't working.
Thank you.
Your father really did a good job. And we appreciate our parents even more when they leave, and that's natural. But we want to have as much appreciation and gratitude as we can while they're here. That's what we want. That's the goal, and that's what this talk is for, to help ignite that. Thank you, Yasmin.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything you want to ask or say?
I was going to say, I know I was
Who's
a little
speaking?
late to the party. My name's Rachel.
Oh, Rachel.
Murphy.
Good, Rachel.
Yeah, I had a strained relationship with my mom for years. But in getting older and having, I talked to, Dr. My therapist. Yeah, Bert. And, even though it was strained, I knew that she made choices that she had to make in the moment because she was in a perpetual state of abuse with my biological father. And then the second choice of a husband was to get away from the biological father. So in reconciling those things, and now she's very ill, I'm grateful for the conversation.
So who's very ill? Your biological father?
No, to my mother. I'm grateful for the conversation with my mother and the time that I have with her, even if I'm caregiving for her at that time.
That's beautiful. You're having this time when she needs you, or you can give that care. That's.
And to reconcile her guilt, because she knows it wasn't perfect, and
He's denying it.
Well, we're getting some voice interference because I'm not able to mute people today for some reason.
Yeah, it's okay. I know that it's a good road, and it's really been really nice to be there for her.
Well, I'm sure your mother is extremely grateful to you, and you're extremely grateful to have this time with her. That's very important to have that. That's the greatest. That's a great good.
She's still calling this trial a hoax, buddy.
Sorry,
it's been nice to have her really involved in my kids too.
Oh yeah.
Having a lot of times a parent that wasn't the greatest parent, a lot of times they make it up to the grandkids. A lot of people make a better grandmother or grandfather than they did parent. Very true. Very true. Thank you, Yasmin, for that. Thank you. Anybody else have anything you want to ask or say?
Hi, Dr. Nerenberg. It's Iris.
Oh, Iris. Iris, yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, she embarrassed him.
So this is.
So I just wanted to say it's funny.
She described everything very sexually, very in detail.
No, he's talking about the Trump. He's talking about the Trump trial. Just a second. I can't mute him. He's talking about the Trump trial.
Yeah.
No, he won't know what I'm
Tell him
talking
to
about.
mute themselves, dude.
No, buddy, it's real.
No, they don't know I'm talking to them. Yeah. Go ahead.
So I was just saying, a couple days ago, I had an epiphany. I called my mom because I was always so angry at her for how she would treat me, thinking that she didn't care about how I felt. But I actually realized in retrospect, the way that she treated me was her love language, not my love language. And she just did the best she could the way she knew how. And I had to thank her for that. And I wanted her to know that I love her and I cherish her. And I wanted to say that before she was actually on her deathbed. I wanted her to know that it was not coming from guilt or because it's my last moments with her, but it's because it's something that I truly feel, and I wanted her to know as soon as possible. And I just did that call a couple days ago.
Iris, I've always felt you are truly a great human being. You are truly a great person. Great. That's greatness. I'm very touched by what you did, and I have so much respect and admiration for what you did. That's beautiful. It's a great gift to you that you came to that, and it's a great gift to her to receive that. That's a good role model for anybody. You're a good role model for all of us. Thanks, Iris.
Hey Doc, this is Nestor.
Nestor,
how can I not get pissed off when somebody's being disrespectful?
Nobody wants to be disrespected.
I'm trying to hold my composure, but it's like they know they're on Zoom, and
no, I don't think they know that we're hearing their. They don't know. Normally, I mute everybody. They probably think they're muted, and. Somebody's watching the Trump trial.
I'm trying to no, I know I'm trying to hold my, I'm not trying to upset, but it's like, it's so disrespectful to you, you know?
I don't feel disrespected.
I'm trying to listen to you.
Nestor,
I'm trying to listen to everybody else.
I'm glad you're sharing that feeling. They don't know we're picking it up. They think I muted them. I think when they hear this video and they hear themselves on it, they're going, "Oh my God, I didn't know we were live, we'd be recorded." Yeah, but I hear you, and I appreciate I appreciate the feeling behind that. But thank you, Nestor, for that concern. I understand your concern. Yeah. The key to not taking it personally is say it's not personal. He doesn't mean to disrespect me or us. It's gonna interfere with the video. The video won't be perfect, but we can live with that. In fact, this is a good lesson to come out of it. What I'm saying. Yeah. Anybody else have anything? Nestor, thank you. Anybody else have anything you want to ask or say? Okay. With that, I want to thank you. I'm so grateful to be here and share with you the presentations. What have your parents done for you?
The sea of destiny is in your deepest struggle. God's will and mine be one, and I wish you well. You are co-creator, respectfully real. There's a way in the valley that turns weakness to steel. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like water from the desert flow. I pledge my love all the days of my life. I pledge my soul to all that is good. I pledge my heart to my brothers and sisters who I join in the light, leave a legacy of honor. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow.